All right, all right. All right, all right. All right, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back to your class with yours truly, the counselor, Mr. James Horton. Welcome back to your domestic violence class with yours truly, the domestic violence counselor, Mr. James Horton. All right. Okay, we're going on another ride. And, you know, they say when you get on an airplane, they say to strap your seatbelts in, and you wonder why they ask you to strap your seatbelts in. Well, they say they want you to strap in because you're going to feel a little bit of turbulence before you reach a comfortable altitude. So, welcome back again to take a ride with yours truly, your domestic violence counselor. I want you also to tap in before we get started. I want you to tap into my site, Domestic Violence with the Counselor, on YouTube. Domestic Violence with the Counselor, Mr. James Horton, on YouTube. Tap in, put a thumbs up, tell me, let me know you're liking what you see and you're enjoying some of this, what they call therapy. All right. This paper is called Relationship Withdrawals and Domestic Deposits. Relationship withdrawals and domestic deposits. Relationship withdrawals, when you withdraw something, in domestic deposits. It says RWDD withdrawals and deposits are known as RBAs, relationship bank accounts. RBAs are much like checking accounts at a bank. RWDD are two main functions describing the give and take in most domestic relationships. RWDD are also the blueprints and fact sheets to many of our healthy and problematic relationships. Ask yourself questions, all right? Climb aboard and ask yourself these questions. Number one says, domestic withdrawal. Are most of your relationships domestic withdrawals, or are they domestic deposits? Are most of them domestic withdrawals or domestic deposits? You know how it is when you continue to draw out of a bank account. You know how it is when there's nothing left in the bank account. Well, what happens? You overdraw your account, you know, and there's a debt that follows, you know, daily debt at that, you know. So you want to be careful on drawing everything out and not ever depositing anything in, or getting in relationships with someone and thinking it's all about a withdrawal instead of a deposit, right? It doesn't weigh out. All right, number two, domestic deposit. When it comes to defining your character in most relationships, are you known as Mr. or Mrs. Withdrawal, or are you known as Mr. or Mrs. Deposit, right? Like, what position are you in most relationships? Are you the depositor, or are you the withdrawer? Which one are you? Is the question. Number three, domestic account. Are most of your family accounts, friendship accounts, marriage accounts, or relationship accounts known as domestic withdrawals, or are they known as domestic deposits? Are most of these relationships you have with people, with your family, with your mom and them, right, with your dad and them, right, are they domestic deposits or domestic withdrawals, right? You want to find out, right, because it's a long journey on finding out who you are. It's a long journey on when are you going to become a man, or when are you going to become this woman you say you are, right? Many of us are not maturing at the pace that we once were, right? And we haven't really got this thing down. We want someone to be given to us, but we tend to not want to be lock into the place of giving back, right? Or giving without receiving. Which one and where are you? All right? Number four, domestic withdrawal. In most relationships you've chosen to withdraw from, were most of your withdrawals known as losses, or were they known to you as benefits and deposits to your self and self-worth account? Domestic withdrawal. In most of your relationships you've chosen to withdraw from, were most of those withdrawals known as losses, or were they known to you as benefits and deposits to yourself and self-worth account, right? Now, I know that it could be a little complicated. That's why I tend to have to read some of these questions over to you. But have you ever like just been with somebody that you either noticed early on or you noticed slightly late that it wasn't good for you, right? And at a time you thought, ooh, if I depart from this partner, this relationship partner, this ship that just keep moving around and won't sit still, if I withdraw for it, my whole world will be lost. You mean you forget that you were functioning at a time without this person, but yet you can find yourself in a place where you just feel like, this person is the breath you breathe out of your air. It's the breath you breathe out of your lungs. And you just think that it's going to be all bad, but yet you withdrew from that, right? And you found later that it was a benefit to withdrawing, right? Because if you stayed in there, it could have been life-threatening. It was life-threatening. It was a serious matter. You was about to go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. You was about to jump off a bridge, commit suicide, burn a house down or something. I mean, and you were working with these feelings. But if you really check some things out, that withdrawals are not bad. Withdrawing sometimes is withdrawing to win. Surrendering it even that, hey, this ain't for me. Hey, I can't beat this. I can't conquer this, right? So withdrawals are not always bad, all right? So, number 5, domestic deposit. Are most of your conversations, dyads, dialogues, and verbal disputes with people you know and even those you don't know known as domestic withdrawals, or are they known to be domestic deposits? Domestic deposit. Are most of your conversations, dyads, dialogues, and verbal disputes with people you know and even those you don't know known as domestic withdrawals, or are they known as domestic deposits? Right? I mean, you gotta check yourself out. I mean, I suggest at least once, twice, even several hours of the day to check you out. To check you out and to check out who you're talking to, because you're really responsible for who you're talking to. You're responsible for how long you're gonna stay there talking to these people, right? And you're going to find out how long you're going to just keep running your mouth or yourself into a ditch, right? And you want to know, are you talking, depositing, and receiving from that person in the way you want to be received, right? Or are you just throwing up all over the place, right? Are you the person that's like, you going to the toilet, right? You going to do a number 2. And like, it's smelling pretty bad in there. And so you sit down and, it's time to flush the toilet. They tell you that in San Quentin, Santa Rita, and Santa something, that when you go to the bathroom, they say drop one, flush one. You don't want to be sitting in that mess, right? Because it's stinking there, right? So, is your get down a deposit or a withdrawal? Ask yourself, all right? So we're going to move on, all right? Number 6, domestic problem deposit. When you find yourself dealing with problems in and outside of most relationships, are you known to deposit your anger and mess, or are you known to withdraw and avoid most of those relationship regrets? Domestic problem deposit. When you feel yourself dealing with problems in and outside of most relationships, are you known to deposit your anger and mess, or are you known to withdraw and avoid most of those relationship regrets, right? They're going to be regrets, man, if you don't withdraw. They don't be regrets. You want to stay in there. I see people in the groups that I counsel, and I talk to the men, and we chopping it up. And I'm wondering, I said, why did you stay so long? Now, the person has already verbally attacked you. The person has already said something that was too heavy for you to take. but yet you sit and wait and throw something in, not a good one, but you throw something in just to put more wood on the fire, more gas on the fire, more fluids on the fire to make the flame go higher. And you sit there and wait for them to say the ultimate. Wait for them to say, she's sleeping with Fred or something. Or wait for her to wait for him to say, he's sleeping with Diane. And these ultimate things, and the feelings are getting erupted, and the fire is burning higher and higher. But yet you sit and stay, right? You sit and stay. So, you're gonna have some regrets. You're gonna have some regrets. And when you hear the siren, it's not a siren for the neighbor around the corner. It's a police siren coming to get you, right? So you don't want to stay and too long and get regrets. So what you do is do this. You withdraw, all right? You withdraw, all right? Okay, number 7, domestic deposit. During your rearing, upbringing, and developmental process from childhood to adulthood, was your process a deposit of love and affection, or was it a process of withdrawal and rejections? Right? Was it like, was that your process? Because everybody, it would be nice if everybody got love. But, sometimes it's going to be some of us that don't get the love. Some of us are not like the neighbors next door, where they eat at the table at a certain time, and they pray, and they hug each other, and they love on each other, and they support each other. Everybody's family is not going to be like that, right? So there was some things, right? But that don't mean it's over with for you, right? You can still work through some stuff. You can still learn how to love, learn how to receive love, right? Now, you just got to ask yourself, which one did you have to deal with, right? And be willing to work on that, all right? Okay? Well, you don't have no rejections, okay? Number 8, we're going to close this out. Domestic self-deposit. When it comes to the deposits of self-giving and giving to yourself, being your best, domestic self-deposit. When it comes to the deposit of self-giving and giving to yourself, being your biggest and being yourself being your biggest and hardest deposit, are your biggest deposits the most hardest because of your history of self-withdrawal? Domestic self-deposit. When it comes to the deposits of self-giving and giving to yourself and being giving to yourself being the biggest and hardest deposit of all, are your biggest deposits the most hardest because of your history of self-withdrawal, right? We have a history sometimes, right? And it's hard to deposit into self. We get places, we say, ooh, we fix ourselves up. We get a few weeks rest, right? And start polishing everything up. And then as soon as we meet somebody, right? As soon as we meet somebody, we just go all in. We put 100% in, right? And I don't know, and I tell the clients, and I'm telling you all that, I don't know if giving your whole entire self to something, right, is a good thing. What it is, though, I must tell you, is a gamble, right? It's a gamble to give everything in without checking everything out. It's a gamble. It's a gamble without reading one's resume, right? Without asking questions. It's a gamble. Before you throw your whole self in, watch out before you throw your whole self out, right? Because if you throw your whole self in, there may not be, and there's not going to be anything left for you if the thing crashes, right? So I'm saying save something in your bank account. Save something over here. Make some deposits that no one knows about. Hide them over here. You know what I'm saying? Don't just hide them under the pillow, because somebody might, try to make up the bed and they notice that you got a deposit there. So don't leave everything visible, right? Make some deposits, put them over here, say nothing to anyone else. No one knows but you that you have a storage of deposits that you might need for a later time of withdrawal when need be. All right? That's going to be it for yours truly, the counselor. Thank you for attending my group.